Hi everybody, welcome to this day trade recap. Today is February 7th, and today we worked with one stock. We took 5 trades and we made a total of $11.50 per share across all 5 of those trades. We have not seen a stock like this in a long time. Also today I was testing a new algo that I've been working on and developing, and the purpose of this algo was to help my members to stay out of the chop. Sometimes the market goes sideways and you get really choppy sideways action and a high risk of getting stopped out. So I worked on an algo that helps stay out of that mess. Also, no false signals. Sometimes you get duped into buying when it really isn't a good buy signal. So I wanted a nice strong system that avoided chop, eliminated false buy signals, only gave real buy signals, and allows you to stay with the full trend. It is proving to be amazing. So I wanted to show you how this thing works. The stock we traded today was HOLO. So I first alerted my trade room of this stock at 6:55 a.m. my time. I'm in Mountain Time, and I told them, you see this red dash line that I told them that it has to prove and hold this red line, which is $3.70. I said, once you get a signal above that, then you're ready to trade it and it will run. So we were just kind of waiting. We didn't trade in here. It was showing resistance. See, as you know, those of you who watch my videos and work with me, you know that I give all of these target levels, these white lines, and these dash lines are cautionary, okay? What we were looking for is for price to hold this red dash line. And so you can see it was really struggling with that, and then it came down here. It had to find some support, fell below this dark blue line, which is the 50 EMA. But once it reclaimed the 50 EMA, it reclaimed that 370 and this other target level. Once it did that, then it was off to the races, and that actually occurred at around 7:48 this morning. I didn't trade right there. I was waiting for a different signal. I was waiting for these bubbles, okay? This is a bubble. Sometimes these repaint, which means they'll fire off, they'll show up, and then they'll disappear. Like this is a buy bubble. Sometimes price will hit that, it'll sell down. If it sells down below it, it will disappear in the repaint. But if you have a system in place that confirms their signal, then that's a very strong signal, okay? And that will give you a buy signal if you have the right confirmation. And that's what this lower indicator is down here. Whenever the green line is above this white horizontal line and the red line has to be below that white horizontal line. Now that's a trade when you have that buy bubble, okay? This will give a ring sound when this fires off. All I have to do is look down here and see if I have that set up. That means get in. My first trade was at 8:38 right here on this candle, 8:38, and I got in at $5.17. That was my entry. Got in on this candle at that price. And I do have some other targets in here, but I was going to watch market structure, meaning I'm going to watch this line to continue to point up and this red line. Sometimes you'll see how it points down, but if this red line's still pointing down, then I'm good to go. And as long as we're still kind of having nice hollow candles, these are hike and ash. These are trending candles, and I am a trend trader, so these candles really play in my favor very well. These are what I like to use. They help me stay with the full trend. I'm not getting chopped out. I'm not nervous about, pullbacks or anything. I know exactly what I'm doing with these candles. I'm just going to my target. See, they kind of hesitated right here at this target, and I gave these lines to my members at 6:55 this morning. So they had these on their chart already. So they knew how price was going to react when it hit these levels. We had 2 candles just kind of get stuck there, and then it pushed through. This was pointing up straight. This red line was pointing down. So we just stayed with it to the next line. Now here we could see price was hanging out here. It got a little choppy. Once these lines kind of hit these light gray horizontal lines, you see there's a gray line right here. Here's a gray line right here. Once price hits those, you may see some hesitation, possibly a pullback, but price will react once it's hitting these levels on this lower indicator. That's the usefulness of these 2 lines. You can either get out at your target, which I encourage my members to get out. If they see any kind of hesitation, just go ahead and get out. And I got out at 8:58 my time at $7.61. I made $2.44 on that trade that only took me 20 minutes, okay? So getting out there, and then I'm just waiting for my next signal. I didn't get a bubble here, but I had a red to green. My candles went red, and here they're green. I'm above a target. Things are pointing up down here and pointing down. So even though I don't really have a bubble, if I have the candle going red to green above critical levels, this was clearly above resistance right here. That's a signal to get in and try to get to the next targets. I had several cautionary. Price was flying through them, guys. It was This stock was insane. So it flew right through these levels. I got out on the second dash line. Remember, I got in at $7.70 at 9:10 a.m. my time and got out 2 minutes later on this candle at 9:12 a.m. at $9.05, and I made $1.35 on my second trade. So not bad. You know, I told my members that this would be a choppy area and expect some craziness, and sure enough, it kind of chopped around. You see how it really chopped these dashed lines? It got stuck in there. And that's very typical. Down here, I will never trade, even though I have buy bubbles. Buy bubble here, buy bubble here, buy bubble here. This buy bubble was false, right? Some people may have gotten in there and they could have scalped it, I suppose, but I'm not interested in scalping it usually, unless there's enough range and it looks like it's gonna, you know, be profitable for me. But it's really not a good idea to trade when you have the red above the green, especially above this white line. So I don't get in. If I have a buy signal there, down here, the red line was above green. So not getting in there. Here, same thing, but these lines are getting closer. It might set up again. Another thing is I have this line right here. Do you see this line? This white trending line? That's my stop loss, and I really need price above my stop loss, right? I have no risk management if I'm trying to get in and trade when price is below my stop loss. So that's the other reason I don't get in there. So I was waiting for price to get above this line, to look good down here in this indicator, and finally I felt comfortable right here. Here we have green above red down in this lower, right? And it's above this white horizontal line down in the lower, and red to green move after a buy bubble. I had to wait. See, this buy bubble occurred here. Things are okay. I could have got in, but again, I wasn't. That's right here. Price was not above my stop loss. This is my stop loss, folks. This thicker gray white line. I have to get price above there. Here we finally had it, and look down below. Things are pointing up down here. The green line's pointing up. The red line's pointing down. That's going to be good. So this trade I entered at 10:34 this morning, and my price was $8.76, and I'm going to watch market structure and stay with it. It got a little choppy. My green line was getting a little choppy down here, but red was pretty consistently staying below the white line and pointing down more or less. So I'm going to cut through these previous target lines and try to get to this line. All right. Price was crazy. Can I just tell you, price action was really crazy on this stock. We had this candle right here. This is a doji. It went all the way up to $10.61, all the way down to $8.69. You have a $2 candle in 1 minute. An indecision candle. That was dramatic price swinging, very scary. I wasn't able to get out at this price, but price held my stop loss. See this line, this white, grayish white line, this thicker line, okay? But the bodies were closing above. Yes, it did pierce below with tail, but the bodies held it. Okay, you see how the bodies held my stop loss? This is a really powerful stop loss line, folks, okay? So I really like using it. This is another part of the algos that I put together. It helps you to stay with this trend, and that's the goal. We're trend traders. We're trying to stay with the trend, even though the color is changing red to green here and we have crazy price action. And I knew this stock was going to be crazy like this. I mean, I didn't quite know it was going to be this crazy, but I expected some wild moves. So it's a matter of managing risk, which this line, this thicker line, helps me do that. And using these other tools that I have on the chart will help me understand when to get in and when to get out, right? So these white lines, again, these are my targets. This thicker white line is a weekly level. These are daily levels, these thinner ones. It felt like to me it was going to at least get to this weekly level at some point today. So I literally stuck with this stock all day long. 55 trades is a little out of my character. Trading clear till closing bell is really not something I typically do, but today I really felt like I was going to do it with this one. This was the third trade, and I got in at 10:34 a.m. and my price was $8.76 because my signal was good. Green line going up above the white line and red line pointing down, and I am above my stop loss, so I'm getting in. I'm going to try to go all the way to here, but if I have to get out at one of these other lines, like if I see price stalling out, treating it as resistance, I may get out. So I got in there at that $8.76 and I stayed with it. I didn't get stopped out. Price was holding this line. I already talked about this crazy $2 swing in one candle in 1 minute, but it held the line, and here things started to stall out. I had a lot of wicks hitting this level, so I got out on this candle right here at 11:29 my time. So I was in that trade for almost an hour, but I made $1.99 per share on that trade. Now, that was okay. We're gonna watch. Now here we have a buy bubble. Do I get in? Green line is above the red line down here, but it's struggling a little with my stop loss. right? I didn't get in there. It hit the target. It hit both targets actually right here. This one and this one, right? These thinner, these daily targets. But I didn't trade that one. I just wasn't feeling really confident. It had tagged the 50 EMA, this dark blue line right here. And that's why it pushed up there, because a lot of buyers will get in when it shows support at the 50 EMA. But I didn't get in there, and I waited and I waited. And here I got in here. This was a little scary because I was flirting with my stop loss line. I barely pushed above it, but down here things looked really good. So I got in. My fourth trade was at $12.19 this morning. This candle right here, and my price was $10.86, and I got out on this candle right here 3 minutes later at $11.57. So I made 71 cents per share in 3 minutes. So things were still pointing up, but I got out. It had gone above this thicker white line. That was a weekly level. Usually they're really strong resistance. It pushed above it, which was good to see, but I wasn't going to push it. I know, hey, once they push a major level, they need to come down and find some serious support. So I didn't trade for a while. Price had to come all the way down almost to the 200 moving average. That's this yellow EMA, okay? And we had some buy signals, right? We had one here, we had one here, but look, red down here in this lower indicator is above the green. So it was just kind of a choppy mess. Red stayed above the green all the way till about here. And it was treating this weekly level, this thick white line, as resistance here. Resistance, resistance, resistance for a long time right here. Even though we had green above red, at this point I need price to get above this thick white weekly target line. Let me scroll over here. As you can see, if you can see that, this candle right here, 1:54 p.m. Mountain Time, that candle got above, and then this candle was really above that weekly level. So I got in on this candle at the top of it, and my price was $12.59, really close to closing bell at 1:54 p.m. because it closes at 2. But I got in there, and then I got out right here. I was lucky to get out right before closing bell at 1:57, and my price was right at my target. This is the next weekly level. I made it thick just like this previous one. This was also a weekly level, and that was at $17.60. I made $5.01 per share, and it only took me 3 minutes. Even though it was late in the day, very, very late in the day, it was my biggest trade of the day. It only took 3 minutes. So that's how this stock worked. It's still probably going to hit this 35 level, which is pretty incredible since it started the morning out in the $3 range or $2 range pre-market. It can be really risky playing these stocks, and so that's why I'm trying to help my members a little bit more. They're struggling with the buy signal. Everybody struggles with the buy signals that trades like I do. You get these buy signals, and a lot of people will just jump in when they see price going up, but they don't know where it's going. So I put these targets in for my members so they know where price is going to react. It may reverse it, but it always reacts to these levels, these white horizontal lines that I put on my chart. So those make really good profit takes. Those are targets. And then there's really no guarantee after these lines. The only signal we're looking for after that is, are things set up here? See, I did get in here. Remember, I mentioned this one. I got in here because it was a red to green move, and things down here were looking favorable. They were still trending, so I traded that. But do you see what I'm looking for is I'm using this lower indicator. If things look right down here when I have one of these buy bubbles, then get in. These buy bubbles are at the beginning of trends. There's a sell bubble at an end of trend. I don't sell when I see these. I usually get out at my target, so it occurs before those occur. But I do like to sometimes get in at the buy bubble, or as soon as things look favorable, as soon as things confirm in the lower indicator. And I do have to be above my stop loss, right? You saw how important that stop loss is. Here's that other area that I avoided. It was choppy, right? It was very choppy right here where red was above green down in the lower part. Also, price was just not getting above my stop loss right here, this line up here. So once price gets above that, I can trade. I could have traded here. I didn't. I waited till it was here. And that was that one, it was almost an hour trade there. But do you see how this works? This is the safest way to trade. This is a smart way to trade. If this is the kind of trading that you want to do with somebody who knows how to read a chart, who can give you the turning point, the target levels that work like a charm, who can give you the tools and the understanding on how to read a chart like this and to be able to actually get these lines on your charts yourself, then reach out to me. We have a great community. We trade every day. We only focus on the most profitable stocks that will pay you big money every day. We focus on that, and every stock we work with is a winner, okay? It's just a matter of, are you going to be a winner? Are you going to trade correct? So if you need help with that, you're going to need some tools. You're going to need the scanner. You're going to need some guidance and some mentoring. But that's what we do in the group. That's what I do. And I give everything to you that you're going to need to be be successful. So reach out to me at momentumstocktraders.com. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you have a great day, and we will talk soon.